All right.
I really want to play on turn some more, but
All right. Who do we got today? Let's see. What's up, Alec? How's it going? No copywritten music this time. This is actually one of my friends. So I'm going to give it about 5 minutes, let people join in here. I'll do my intro and then we'll get started. What's good, Max? Habibi. I'm pretty sure that's a sexual term. Like I said a minute ago, I'm gonna give it about 5 minutes, let people get in, let people get comfortable, and then go over my intro, and then let's get started. So, what's up, Terry? Taking notes? You got your notebook out? Hope it's digital notes. You got to save the trees. You know what I'm saying? All right. I'm actually gonna send a tweet out that I'm live. I totally forgot to do that. I'm live. Come through. See, you're just attracted to Bitcoin and Ethereum? Hell yeah, brother. I can't wait to get into this. It's gonna be an interesting one. Copy link. Paste. Tweet. All right. What's up, JR? Just a few more minutes, everybody, and then we'll get started. Just letting people get in here. All right. I don't think I can say that. What's good, Omar? How's it going, buddy? All right, everyone. Um, Welcome to the stream. I wanted to go over technical analysis for Bitcoin and Ethereum today, both long and short-term time frames. Then I wanted to get a deep dive into price action and why it's so important. Once I wrap up all of that, I'll go over any questions you might have and any charts you'd like to go over. If you find this interesting, please hit that like and subscribe button. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. I'd also like to add, we have a growing Discord community where we share ideas and discuss charts daily. The link is down below. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, real quick, right above, what you're seeing is the Bitcoin weekly. I have it in log form. It just helps look at the overall um, Bitcoin's overall lifespan. So the other night we had a couple drinks and had some discussion. And one thing I kind of was playing around with is this idea that we might be seeing something kind of ugly. Let me get a little bit more precision in there. So here's Bitcoin's overall uptrend. We actually break down, retest, kind of go sideways, and retest it again. And I don't want to scare all of you and say that Bitcoin's going to zero now, but it's just something to think about. Um, Generally, when you break down through a downtrend and then come back up and retest it, that's actually a pretty bearish sign. But then again, I don't want to try and scare you with this. This could be nothing, or it could be something. But zooming in here, so here is Bitcoin's weekly trend. So I went and drew this out in my Discord the other day, and I had said, we have this initial bottom where COVID happened. We have this retest. We have a peak. We have a somewhat of a retest, somewhat of a breakdown, some sideways movement, and then ultimately a breakdown. This breakdown then led to a retest, which, yes, the retest was up. Obviously, to retest an uptrend, you have to go up. But it retested. It didn't break back through, and now we're continuing down. Usually, this isn't a good sign. This is actually a pretty bearish sign. Also, I want to notice that MACD is weakening. It's starting to curl back over and go into bearish territory, as well as RSI. RSI is not looking good. I believe we have a retest. Yes, so we ultimately have another retest with RSI. We had no breakout or true breakout, and price action again, very bearish, very dead cat bouncy, if I will say. So with that said, now I'm going to move into the daily chart. So here is my daily time frame. Some of you that are coming from Twitter have seen this tweet. I've edited it just a little bit. Let me take off log. I've edited it just a little bit. I did notice that we have somewhat of a resistance, a diagonal resistance. We kind of bounce off it here. We bounce off it here, and ultimately forms another descending wedge. Similar to what happened over here in this March to May timeframe. I think we're seeing a very similar fractal playing out. Price action similar. The negatives in both MACD and RSI are similar. We didn't really break out over a major level, and price action's really weak. I don't think we're going to go any higher. I think that ultimately we've seen the full bull cycle. It was shorter than previous cycles, and I think part of that is because everyone was expecting this to go until December, and when everyone's on the same kind of timeline or time frame, usually it doesn't play out. You always hear the phrase flock away from the herd, because when everyone starts buying, you should be selling, because usually that indicates that a top is coming. So with that said, I want to zoom in to what's specifically happening right now. So we had this big drop from 52K. We kind of had a bounce. Had another drop from about 50K all the way down to about 39,000. We have this huge green candle coming in, which is great. If you bought that somewhat of a local bottom, awesome. I hope you're in profit, and maybe you sold, maybe you didn't, maybe you're holding. But I'm not too confident about it. We have this head and shoulders here. We have our left shoulder, our head, and now our right shoulder. The neckline's around, give or take, 45,000, 44,500. Any close below that, it's validated. So on the 20th of September, we validated pretty greatly, in my opinion. I mean, we almost closed the lower low. That's not necessarily good. Another note is usually with head and shoulders patterns, when the neckline, so the initial drop, is below your left shoulder, that's also further validation that this head and shoulders is going to play out. Again, in my Discord, I talked about it for the whole week and a half that it was happening. I was like, any bounce that's happening, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it until we get over 51, possibly 52,000. I was trying to be patient with this. I've seen it before. Patterns generally play out. I saw the left shoulder, I saw the head, next was the right shoulder. So now that we've gone over that this pattern has been validated, the next form of validation is actually a retest. So you'll break down, you'll actually come back up, retest the neckline, and then continue further down. So in my opinion, we could see as high as 44.5, 45K, and then probably back down. Ultimately, a lot of people think 38K could be a bottom. It could be a big bounce area. I think we just had the bounce. We just had a 6 or 7% bounce today. From the bottom, I believe is close to 10%. I think today was the bounce. I have this weird feeling, really weird feeling that $38,000 is going to get cut through like a knife, and we're going to see 30,000 pretty quickly. I really don't think 38 is going to hold very long. I don't think we're going to bounce around. We could bounce around, but sentiments on longer term time frames looks pretty bad. So let's see. Let's go to chat for a second. So what do you think? This is a confirmation of the Head and Shoulders. So the confirmation was actually 2 days ago on this really large red candle. This closed below 45, 44.5. That gives you confirmation that the Head and Shoulders has played out. And that the next move coming is most likely down. A Head and Shoulders is a bearish reversal pattern. So we have this slight uptrend, and now we have this Head and Shoulders, and we're reversing. Where will we go? 38K is the pivot point for a lot of people. I've been bearish for a couple months now. This whole move from 28,000 all the way to 52,000, to me, it was an overextended dead cat bounce, validated by price action, MACD, and RSI. We have negatives in MACD and RSI that just never looked good to begin with. So with that said, I'm going to move to a 4-hour time frame. We're going to look specifically at what's happening between today and yesterday. So 4-hour time frame. Let's move this around. So if you're bearish, it's great. If you're still bullish, might want to have your opinions questioned. So price action is bearish. We have these large spikes in volume going down. Every time volume kind of increases, we see drops. This thing is interesting. I think this candle is a little bit off-putting, but I think there is a lot of volatility here because we're testing near the neckline. And again, the neckline can go as low as 44,000, 44,500, 45,000. The neckline's more of an area. It's not just a specific price number. So this could have been the bounce right here, which is why it was so volatile. There isn't a whole lot of volume on this bounce. We have volume going down overall as we're going up. We can also see that RSI is very, very much oversold. In order to continue down, you have to have price corrections, those corrections being up. So I would give this a little time. Unless we break 45,000 and really hold above it, I'm not banking that the sentiment changes. Even if it did break above, I still wouldn't be too antsy to get into this market. Zooming out on the monthly. Ooh, zooming out on the monthly. I mean, this looks like a market peak. If I zoom into 2017, everything looks like it peaked. If you look at a general, I think the picture that's been going around is like a general chart on emotions in bull cycles and bear cycles. I mean, this is literally the definition of it. On this bounce back up, we had extremely low volume. It doesn't look like there's a lot of interest to get back into this space, especially with the global sentiment being kind of scary. I mean, we've had some crazy news come out. The SEC is looking for regulation. We have that thing that's going on in China that's similar to what happened in 2008 if you're in the United States. There's a lot of things up in the air. So I would just sit on your hands a little bit, be patient, wait for a sentiment to change. Personally, I don't think sentiment's going to change, but it could still very much change. I think it would take a black swan event for anything to change. Like if the ETF does go through in the United States, maybe it changes sentiment, but I don't know. I don't think that would change it for very long. I think people, not necessarily people, I think institutions have made their money and they're out and they're waiting for the next bear market bottom. So where does your TA intersect with on-chain? So honestly, I don't really look at on-chain. Back when we were at 65K and I was looking at on-chain data, it was the first time I've really looked at on-chain data. We were extremely bullish on-chain. I mean, on-chain was telling us we were going to 100K next week. It was the most accumulation we've seen ever. And then we had a 50% price correction, or 50% plus. I think it was more than 58 or 50 from the top to bottom. Yeah, about a 55% price correction. Is that bullish? I mean, on-chain, what was on-chain really telling us? And now, if you look at on-chain analytics, we are now just as bullish, if not more bullish, by on-chain metrics. I can't trust on-chain. Every chart I've looked at is bearish. So, what do you mean by sentiment and price action? So, sentiment is where the overall market's going. Sentiment is, are we in a bear market or in a bull market? So to determine that, a lot of people look at moving averages like the daily moving average, like the 200. Some people look at weekly moving average, like the 21 EMA. Usually, if you look at an EMA, being above the 21 EMA is bull cycle, being below it is bear cycle. You can see here in 2018, as soon as we went below it, we stayed below it, and that was the whole bear market. Once we got above, kind of went back below. But once we were really far above it, bull market again. Now we're kind of testing it. I don't know. It's a lagging indicator, so to me, it just gives a little bit more confirmation. But you have to kind of look at the whole scope of things. Like, what are you expecting to happen here? Because if you look at the weekly MACD, weekly RSI, price action, it all just looks like it's weakening. It all looks like the bull market is coming to an end or has already ended. Could it change? Yes. Do I think it's going to change? No. So let's go back to our 4-hour chart. So 4-hour. I think this last bounce, similar to what a dead cat bounce is, we kind of hit a bottom near support, and then we kind of bounce back up, retest neckline, validate that head and shoulders yet again, and then continue downwards. So let's take a look. Do you watch Known? He says that we won't break 44.5 and we'll go down to the 30K area. I don't watch Known, but I think the exact same. Bro, your last tweet's YouTube link isn't working. Well, that is unfortunate. I'm going to have to fix that. All right, 37 to 38. Oh, I don't know what that question is. I wouldn't be surprised if we dump a bit harder this weekend. Actually, I think we're going to go up a little bit this weekend. The weekend has very, very low volume, and usually when you have low volume, the price actually goes against the trend. So if you're downtrending, you actually go up. So that initial move to 52K was over Memorial Day weekend. If you live in the United States, we had really, really low volume, and that's why I think it went up to 52K. So what do you mean by fractals? Are these series of 5 candles or something else? So what I mean by fractals, so basically a fractal is a repetition of previous movement in the market. So if we look at what's going on here between March 11th and May 12th, this forms like a head and shoulders. It's a distribution pattern. Distribution meaning people are selling off. Sorry, not people. Whales are selling off in low amounts to keep the price high. And we're seeing it similar here. We're seeing the same kind of head and shoulders distribution pattern. We're having the same kind of validation, the same price action. So I think there's a lot of selling here. Maybe some whale buying down here just to catch another small leg up. And now they're distributing their assets again. So real quick, I'm going to look at a 1 hour and then go over Ethereum, and then I'm going to go over any questions you guys have. So looking at a 1 hour, yeah, like I said again, this is some pretty bearish price action. Whoops. Pretty bearish price action. You have from this bottom point here, you have this huge spike of volume. Sorry, you have this huge spike in volume. And then as we continue up, so just to draw it out for you, huge spike in price and volumes going down. I mean, yes, we have this big volume candle here, but I think it's a lot of volatility. That candle's mostly wick, so I would conclude that this is volume going down, price going up, which is bearish. It does look like a dead cat bounce from the, what is that, about a 20% drop. So, yeah, I think that this is just kind of recovery to continue lower. I don't think that we are going to continue higher. I don't think that there's the strength to continue higher. Um, I think we're going to retest this neckline maybe once more and then see a big down day. Probably around late Wednesday, early Thursday is what I estimate. So let me go over Ethereum. This was something that people were asking for in Discord, especially 2 nights ago. So let's pull up a daily. So daily Ethereum, not looking very good. Again, similar head and shoulders pattern. We have our left shoulder here, our head, and then a right shoulder. It's a little wonky, but it's still a head and shoulders. I would say your neckline is right around this 3K area. 3K is a whole number. So yeah, I would say that's about the neckline. So we actually have a breakdown, and then we went down further, and now this daily is retesting. You could say it's closing above. To me, that's just a retest. If I look at a 4 hour, yeah, it's really low price action. I don't think this is going any higher. Could it? Yeah, but I still don't think so. We have some pretty negative RSI, and there's no bullish divergence at all. So Ethereum, if you're into Ethereum, not the best market sentiment for you. But even looking at the weekly, you have a pretty clear formation of a double top. You have your left top and your right top with your validation point being anywhere between 2.3 and 1700. For me, 1700 was a big level of support. 2K is also a whole number. So I think if you break below 1700 on a weekly, it's very much confirmed. But if you're getting into that 2K area, that 1900 level, that 1800 level, that could also be some confirmation that it's going down, especially if Bitcoin isn't looking good. So, all right. Now let's go over any questions. So, hit me with them. Crypto Cave, ex Wall Street guy turned crypto. You should check him out. I'll check him out. I'll check him out tonight. Thanks for that, Callie. Look at Cosmos. All right, I'll look at Cosmos. You know the ticker symbol? Is I do not know it. Oh, that's Atom. Okay, yeah, I have Atom. All right. Look at it daily. Atom daily. Um, this is actually a pretty strong chart. Not gonna lie. Yeah, no, this is pretty strong. Um, I do see some really bullish price action, which is the first thing I look for. So you have volume going up as price is going up. We have this kind of teeter off, but that's okay. Not the worst thing. This is looking pretty good. Even MACD is showing some bullishness. RSI, on the other hand, it is a little funky, but overall this chart is pretty bullish, I'd say. I tend not to look at smaller time frames with alts because just weird. There's just weirdness. But this daily looks pretty good. Let me look at the weekly. The weekly's not bad either. You have bullish price action again. MACD doesn't look like it's weakening by any means. RSI is showing a little bit of bearish divergence, but overall not horrible. But even with that said, you have to remember altcoins, their movement is based off what Bitcoin is doing. If Bitcoin is bearish and looking to go down, altcoins are going to be affected the same way. So, not saying that Atom won't have a great recovery if Bitcoin went down. I mean, we can see that it has almost fully recovered. I mean, from the peak, it dropped about 40%, and today, from the bottom, it went up 40%. So, if you bought the bottom, you've recovered. But I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Not that it doesn't matter, but again, depending on what Bitcoin does, um, altcoins can look as great. They can look juicy. They can look spicy. They can look spicy. Yeah, they can look spicy. But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it depends what Bitcoin's doing. and Bitcoin's overall market sentiment, to me, I think this bull cycle's over. So let's look at this. You said late Wednesday, Thursday. You mean next week? No, I mean this week. I very much mean this week. We are going to have probably another downward movement. I think that we've tested this neckline once. We could see another possible green day to test it again, but overall, I mean, I think this could go down in 2 to 3 more days. So if we are in bear, what do you think the bottom will be? So I have some estimations on the bottom. Um, I've seen other Twitter accounts and their estimation of the bottom. Overall, I think the bottom is going to be somewhere along the 200-day moving average, well, 200 weekly moving average. It's been a consistent bottom in the past, um, like we have here in 2015, we have here in 2018. Obviously, we had this crazy COVID crash, which even still it acted as a bottom. So for me, I think anywhere where this 200 weekly moving average will end up. So as low as, if we just nuke tomorrow, as low as 15,800. But time frame specific, I think anywhere between 17,500 and 22,000 will most likely be the bottom. If you're looking to DCA, I would look between the 100 weekly moving average and the 200 weekly moving average. So, hey, this is crazy. Can you go through Doge? There's been bullish news in it. All right, I'll look at Doge. Doge. I hate Doge. It's just, it was always made as a joke. It's hard for me to take it seriously. So, okay, Doge. Um, Not the best looking chart. This is the daily. Is this not the right Doge? Hold on. Rip this one. All right, Doge. So let me turn off my average. Um, Doge isn't too bad. It looks like there's been a lot of sideways movement. Um, if you look and zoom out for price action, yeah, I mean this looks sideways. Doge could be a pretty good chart actually. But we could see sideways movement like this happen too. Um, yeah, no, this isn't a terrible looking chart. It's not necessarily a great looking chart, but you have this, this huge dip and kind of came up and now we're going down. I think as long as we hold 15 cents, you're looking okay. But as soon as you break 15 cents, it could get ugly fast. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. Can you show us an example of a swing trade strategy in the chart? Your risk management thought process on how to DCA in. Okay, so first things first, DCAing and swing trading are two entirely different things. DCAing is similar to a 401k where you're buying into something with the expectation or that you think that that asset is going to go up. And it doesn't matter when you're buying, you're just buying on a consistent time interval. So DCAing is a perfect example of DCAing is, let's say every Monday of every week at noon, I buy $100 worth of Bitcoin. It doesn't matter if Bitcoin's up 30%. It doesn't matter if it's down 1%. It doesn't matter if it's down 50%. It doesn't matter. You're buying on a time-based interval, not what the market's doing. You have to ignore what the intraday, intra-week, and almost intra-month are doing. You need to focus more on the year-long time span. So the DCAing strategy has been the best investment strategy with specifically Bitcoin and Ethereum, in my opinion. You can't go wrong with it. If you bought last year, you're up. If you bought 3 years ago, you're up. If you bought yesterday, well, you're down. But again, intraday, intra-week movements for DCAing, not necessarily the most important thing. So I will go over a swing trading strategy, but I hope that answers your question for DCAing. So a swing trade that I found a lot of success in is actually over here. So this time frame between May 10th and July 25th, well, realistically, May 10th through I'd say September 4th, 2020. This was a swing trade I participated in. I made some money from. I was successful with. Um, Overall, a great swing trade before the bull market. But anyways, so what I do when I'm looking to swing trade is just like a brief explanation. When you're swing trading, the overall market does something like this. It goes up and sideways, maybe down and sideways and up and sideways and up. And it's not as perfect as this. But when you're swing trading, you're looking to enter on these movements, these sideways movements, and then also on like a breakout of the sideways movement. So like adding more here, like you'd add more here. And then on the big downward movements, you'd look to exit here when your sentiment changes. And let's say we went like that. You'd want to exit somewhere here. So you're entering on the sideways movements, you're buying more on breakouts, and you're selling when the sentiment changes. And sentiment changing can be a multitude of different things. So I will go through this swing trade that I made. All right. So first things first, if I'm just looking at the chart from, we'll just say before the breakout happened. So if I'm looking at all this, um, first I want to get the overall sentiment. So we have an upward movement all the way up here. Now we're kind of going sideways, sideways, maybe down and sideways, whatever you perceive, but ultimately up and sideways. So, okay, I want to draw what the pattern is or what the current diagonal support and resistance lines are. So I'd say from this top, just kind of write it down, and then I'd say from, I don't know, maybe this bottom and write it like that. So, okay, now I have what looks like a symmetrical triangle, or if you really look at it, it is a bull flag. So for me, this could be very bullish. But I also notice within here, you kind of have what looks like a double bottom. If I like really zoom in on this, this is somewhat of a double bottom, which is also bullish. But okay, regardless. So swing trade entry, what I'm looking for are multiple touches of this bottom line before I start buying to make sure that it holds a support. So we have one touch here, we have possibly another touch here, we have another touch here, touch here, a touch here, a touch here. So by the time that this touches the third time, I say, okay, this is some pretty good support. Let's say I enter in around 9,000. Okay, so I enter in around 9,000. I think 9,000 is a good support level. We haven't really closed below it. We haven't really done a whole lot with 9,000. We haven't really gone below. We're just kind of chilling. So I see this kind of go to 9,000. We have a 9,000 bottom here. We have a 9,000 bottom here. Kind of makes a double bottom. I'm sure if you went in on hourly charts, it'd look like a double bottom. Double bottoms are bullish. So, okay, I buy at 9,000. My risk management strategy tells me to put my stop loss below the closest bottom or the lowest bottom of the pattern that I'm looking at. So if I'm looking at this double bottom, I am going to put it right here, right below there, which is a from 9,000 down to here. It's about a 3% loss. So let's say in my trading plan, well, personally in my trading plan, I am not willing to take more than a 2% total portfolio loss. There is a link in my Discord of why taking smaller losses is the most productive strategy in trading and why it's the most successful. If you're in my Discord, check it out. If you're not, please join and check it out. It is a fantastic video on risk management. But anyways, so about a 2.5, 3% stop loss, depending where you get in here. So with that said, let's say I want to keep my risk management at around 1%. So 2.5%, I'll buy in with about, let's say about 10 to 15%. That keeps me around that 1% level. That keeps me safe. If we drop, I lose 1%. Not a big deal. So okay, I'm holding that 10%. I'm chilling. I think we're at a bottom. I'm chilling. Okay, we make a lower high. And now it looks like we have broken out on this daily candle. Um, awesome. We've broken out of the symmetric triangle. And we're actually at 9,300. So we're about 3 or 4% above where I originally bought. So now I want to add more to my trade. But I also need to consider I bought at 9,000 and I'm in profit. I want to stay in profit and not take a loss in this trade. Now you need to evaluate where can I or how much can I enter to make sure I either break even or stay in profit if my stop loss gets hit, which again, that is subject to how much you've entered into this market. You can enter more if your beginning was more, you enter less if your beginning was less. So now moving on. Also, I see on this breakout, there is some good volume coming in. So that does confirm a breakout. Before I buy anything that's a breakout, I always make sure that volume is matching that breakout. Okay, so great. The next thing I want to do after we break out of that is draw the next line of resistance, which is probably about this 10,000 level. 10,000 is a 10,000 is a great whole number. It's always been a resistance with Bitcoin. 10,000 has been like the magic number. We get above it, we're going to 20K. We stay below it, going back to 3K. But anyways, so once we close either a daily or a 4-hour candle with solid price action, I'm probably looking to buy above 10K. So okay, let's say we get some 4-hour closes and this huge green dildo comes in, which is awesome when that happened. But yeah, it happened and I'm in and my 9,000, my 9,300 and now my $10,000 buy are all in profit. At this point, I'd hope to be in around 50% of my total portfolio, depending on my risk management. Again, trade to trade, it's different, but that's how I manage this trade. So now I'm up. Great. I'm up. I'm still up, even though we dipped a lot here. I'm still up. If I want to add more, I need a reason to add more. We need to break more resistance. We need to show solid price action. We need to do things that are looking like they're breaking out and not losing speed. So one thing I note is we're going up, but we're going up with lower volume. Even on this spike here, it's still lower volume than what happened here. So for me, I'm being cautious and I'm saying, okay, we could be losing some steam. We could be in exhaustion. What is the next resistance level? And if we zoom out, we can see that the next resistance level is around 12.4, which is where we hit. So we're going lower volume. We hit it, we come back down, we kind of chill. The next thing I notice is we're starting to make what looks like a head and shoulders. We have our left shoulder, our head, and now I'm waiting for the right shoulder, possibly to sell unless we keep breaking up. But this price action from August 26th to September 1st, very bearish in my opinion. We also stopped literally at the top of what is considered the shoulder line, and I was expecting this to dump. So I actually sold this somewhere around like 11.7 or 11.8. I think it was like late at night when it dumped, so I wanted to get out before things got really bad. So, I sell. Some people will tell you to sell half and maybe put a different stop loss in somewhere lower just in case you do bounce. Me personally, if I'm up 30 to 40 to 50% on a trade, I'm getting out. I've I've had great trades where I've had huge red candles like this completely decimate my profits. And now I'm in the place where if I can take a 30% portfolio gain on a trade, that's huge, and I will take that. So, does that kind of answer your question on my thought process with risk management and swing trading? Going over specifically how to determine the bullish sentiment of the swing trade is a little bit more complicated. I'd be happy to go over that on another live stream. Okay, this question. Since we are in a bear market, when can we expect the bull market to start? And if Ethereum breaks 2,000, 1,700, how much drop can we expect? Just ballpark. I think Ethereum will see a low of like $800 in the next bear market. Typically in the bear market, you have about a 75 to 90% price decrease. I'm going to lean more to the 75% side because I think a lot of people will be antsy to buy in, especially around the 200 moving average on the weekly chart, which has been a consistent bottom. So for me, I'd say 75% of 65,000 is around 18K. So again, I would look to enter around that 18 to 20K range. Would I start a swing trade if we touch 18K in 2 months? No. I'm waiting for that sideways movement. I'm waiting for a pattern to form. I'm waiting for I'm waiting for things to tell me that we're gonna look bullish. And as for alts, man, if you're in alts right now, alts lose like 90% of their value in the bear market. So I would rethink that before you continue holding. Again, alts lose 90 to 99% of their value in the bear market, and many of them cease to exist because most of them are made as rug pull schemes. Okay, I will answer this question now. How do I find support and resistance? So it really depends on the type of trader you are. Support and resistance is, for me, I look at the daily chart. Some people use Fibonacci, some people use moving averages, some people uh, look at the moon and stars, and their alignment tells them where the support and resistances are. Um, but what I do is I look at the chart and I look from right to left. So we're currently in a downtrend, and this is a blank chart. So, okay, blank chart. We're moving from right to left. I'm going to leave auto on. So if I'm looking from right to left, the first thing I do is draw my support levels. So if I'm looking, actually, if we're going down, I'm looking at my resistance level. So the first thing I do, right to left, I'm going to say probably, and again, you have to start here and look like this. So I'd say around here, like this peak here, around 44.7, 45K, and then I'm going to draw like a. Also, you can see over here, this acted as a support area when we were going up. So I'd say 45K is a good area of some support. The next thing I look at, so again, right to left. Now I'm going down more. The next most recent peak, and some people get this confused and say it's here. It's actually not there. So I keep going down, and I see that this is the next most recent peak. So I'm going to say 38K, which if you're on social media or you're watching any other crypto people, a lot of people are saying 38K. So moving forward again, my next line of support is this next peak, which if we keep looking back, 30K has acted as a support zone for a lot of different times. So now I'm going to look there at 30K. And that is how you draw your support and resistance. Does that kind of make sense? Oh, how can I tell what peaks to use? So again, for me, I look at the daily chart. Um, I'm looking for the most recent peaks where price has bounced. So even though this is a peak right here, and this is a peak here, and this is a peak here, I'm looking for the most recent one where we've had a bounce because that's most likely where people are going to fill up sell orders or continue buying above that most recent peak if they're breakout trading. But again, I look at a daily. Sometimes I'll look at a weekly. I'll look where like we've had a lot of bounces off the week. So again, this 30K, we've bounced off it several times in the week. It's pretty strong support. Does that kind of make sense? HFL. Oh man, getting spicy down here. Price is getting kind of spicy. We've gone up like 1% in the last hour. Let's see. Yeah, not bad. If you're a scalper, could have made some nice money here. Some use Ichimoku. Yeah, I've dabbled in Ichimoku. Personally, I don't really like it. It's just kind of complicated and hurts my eyes because there's so many complicated things on the screen. And then you have like the crazy terms like Kaijun and Cloud and everything's red and yellow and green and I feel like I'm at McDonald's. What do you mean by most recent peak? Okay, so most recent peak. I mean, when you're looking at a chart from right to left, you're kind of you're following it like this. So you're going like this and looking at that. Some people think you look at it like that. No, you look at it like that. Um, if we're going down, if we're going up, you look at it like this. So you kind of stay on the inside of the movement. So if we're going down like this and up like that. So if I was, I'll give you another example. If I was trading this, which I did trade this zone in here, this dead cat bounce. I had a nice, I think 30 to 40% portfolio gain. It was great. But if I'm trying to get the support and or I guess the resistances because we found support at 30K. So what I'm doing is I'm looking from right to left and I'm going like this. Where's the next peak? There's a peak and a lot of wicks right around 42K. So I would say probably around here, right around there, which like, we bounced off of. And then the next one, if I'm looking from right to left, again, going here, going up. Here's the next peak, which is 59K. And again, sometimes if I notice that there's literally a huge gap here, I'm going to look for other notions of support and resistance. 52K, anywhere in here where this neckline was on the head and shoulders. So we saw, again, support and resistance, or resistance, that is. So it can be a little complicated, but you don't want to draw like 20 lines and be like, oh, you want to look at the major areas where Bitcoin has bounced in the past or recently bounced or recently made a pattern and draw conclusions off that. I hope that helps you. From a long-term holder perspective, can you give your input on when to buy the dip? Watch watch a crypto YouTuber. No, I'm kidding. So to buy the dip, wait for price to go down and continue going down. Wait for some boring sideways action. We're in the bear market. Things are going to get ugly. Well, sorry, let me correct myself. If we are in the bear market, because some people still believe that we're in the bull market. If we are in the bear market cycle, things are going to get uglier. I would wait until we break this 30K area. Once we break 30K, I'd say we're probably a quarter of the way to maybe halfway through the bear market, and you can start DCAing, buying, doing whatever you want. But for me, I'm waiting between the 100 and 200 weekly moving average. If you're not looking at a chart, I'd say wait 3 to 4 months. Yeah, Japanese names things hard, cool, but hard. Yeah, very hard. Very, very hard. It's okay. I've got about 10 minutes before I got to wrap this up. Does anybody have any questions? I'll go over anything you want. Sorry, correction. I have about 10 minutes and about a fifth of a drink left, which are two entirely different things. Oh, I just want to look at a 5 minute. I never do this, but yeah, looks like we're right around a big resistance area. This 44, this 43.5. It's kind of looking like an inverted head and shoulders though. Low key. But your daily sentiment's pretty bare. Let's see. Say any thoughts on indicator software? So, okay, I don't like a lot of indicators. I like to keep my charts clean. I like looking at clean charts. They're just easy to read. They're very easy for other people to interpret because back to the Ichimoku thing, like 9 out of 10 traders have no idea what Ichimoku is and have no idea what any of that means. But if you talk about something like MACD or RSI or support and resistance or maybe price action, more people are going to understand that. So I would say, if you find things that are very complicated that help you trade, that's great. But for me, I like to keep it simple. I like to draw lines and use price action and just keep everything nice and pretty and easy to read. And it helps me also just keep keep like my head out of multiple scenarios that may or may not happen. When you're looking at a clean chart, it's very easy to see what's happening, if that makes sense. I mean, if I just draw some lines here, my head's not in the clouds thinking like, okay, we may or may not do something crazy, and then I get all anxious, and then I make a stupid decision. My chart's very clean. I know where my breakout points are. I don't have 30 points where a breakout could happen, and then I'm like, oh crap. Like, I'm just keeping it nice and simple, and if I miss out on a couple percentage points, I'm all right with that. So, would you FOMO in? Would I FOMO in? I have FOMO'd in before. No, I wouldn't FOMO in. FOMOing in can cost you your portfolio. FOMOing is you're already late and you're missing out. You've already missed out. And you buying, hey, you might go up a couple percentage points early, but when that initial sell-off happens, you're screwed. Perfect example when that Litecoin news came out. I was in Discord like, guys, don't buy. Like, don't. This is the one time I'm going to tell you, don't buy this. You're already late if it's true, and also it may or may not be true. We just got like a random Twitter account say that Walmart's using Litecoin. Well, lo and behold, Litecoin was up 35% and then closed red the same day. If you FOMO'd in with half your portfolio, you just lost 18%. That's not worth anything for me. Is it too risky now since we closed to resistance of the HS line? If you're looking to long, I would say you're in a bad place. I would say wait for a breakout. If the breakout happens, start slow, build a position. Don't put yourself in a place where if you lose, you're taking a huge detriment to your portfolio. Obviously, every investment has risk, the risk of loss. If you want to be a successful trader, you need to minimize your loss, maximize your gains. If you follow the strategy I have in my Discord, I believe the video is by Tom Crown. He goes over why taking 1% to 2% losses every single time uh, is monumentally better than risking your whole portfolio. Because in the long run, you actually end up making more money, you survive longer, and you can catch huge runs. So even someone that loses 99 or not 99, 9 times out of 10 wins in that strategy. You could be the worst trader in the world and you will still win with that strategy. Because even a blind squirrel finds a nut. My head is in the Ichimoku clouds. Dude, me too, brother. I've got margaritas and spicy quesadillas waiting for me. How long do you think till we bottom? I said about Q1, late Q1, maybe early Q2, maybe middle of Q2. It's kind of hard to judge because I was looking at a monthly and a weekly chart, but Q1, Q2, middle of the year next year, that's about what I think. Um, but again, I'm being patient. I don't see any reason to buy right now. And for those of you who don't know, I have never shorted this market before. Um, I only make money longing, and people like come after me and they're like, "Oh my God, Roman's bearish. He's such an idiot." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm bearish because the market's looking to go down. Like the only way I make money in this market's by longing. Like you think I want it to go down? Like no, I'd love to go to 300K. Do I think it's healthy to go to 300K right now? Hell no. Do I think the market's ready to go to 300K right now? Hell no. Do I want lower prices so I can buy more and ride that wave to 300K? Hell yeah, brother. Wow, living well with that combo. Yes, sir. Terry, any thoughts using wave theory, Elliott waves, etc.? So there's a guy in Discord. It is shit. I forget his name. It's off the top of my head. So I've had a long day today. He actually goes over Elliott waves and why they work. Let me just check real quick. I'll be able to tell you. It is Larry the Tyrant. I believe he goes over Elliott waves and he goes over different theories, and his charts are a little bit more colorful than mine. And he's pretty good at explaining them and why they work, and how they work. So if you were gonna ask Larry the Tyrant. Just add him. He'd be more than happy to help you. You're absolutely right. Spiritual warrior, you're absolutely right about Bitcoin volume, which appears as a dead cat bounce. If you enable the 20 MA on the volume indicator, we can see it actually. Thanks for the confirmation, brother. Hey, anytime, man. Just trying to help people learn how to trade and not FOMO in listening to these horrible accounts that just tell you guys to buy the dip every time and tell you to FOMO in and tell you this is the last time that you can buy 50K, or this is the last time you can buy 40K, or this is the last time you can buy 30K. They're all full of shit. And I'm so tired of seeing that because I fell for that. I took the bait when I was first learning how to trade crypto, and I was like, oh my god, 300K, I better get in right now. No, don't. These people make money off you getting liquidated. They make money off their pump and dump schemes that they drill in to you on Twitter and YouTube. Don't fucking listen to them. Excuse my language. Don't listen to them. They're full of shit. I'm not telling you to listen to everything I say, but don't listen to these people that are shilling these pump and dump schemes on you. They are criminals, and I will die on that gravestone. Larry is mad smart and awesome. I will see if he can hook it up. Yeah, he's really smart. And that one night I had like a clash with him, but I know he's smart. I've talked to him before. He's a genius, and I have nothing but positive things to say about him, except for that his charts look like a rainbow and there's a leprechaun on the other side. But regardless, he'll give you the answer for that. Unfortunately, I don't really use Elliott waves, so I couldn't answer you on that one. Just gonna wrap it up. I'll take one more question and then I'm gonna wrap it up. I've got spicy margaritas and quesadillas waiting for me upstairs, and I need to get on that wave. Oh man, oh, that's some good shit. Oh man, I'm so happy that so many people have showed up. This is great. I never thought I'd get a turnout like this on the second stream I've ever made. If you enjoyed it, I really appreciate it. Like I said, like and subscribe. I'm gonna start streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Be more than happy to continue answering any questions, any go over any charts you want. We also, like I said earlier, have the Discord. I think we're about 300 members ish. Sometimes we have late night drunk discussions with charts or whatever other bullshit is going on, but ultimately it's a place where our people come to learn and share ideas. And if you've ever wanted to learn or you've ever had doubts, feel free to come by. It's just our opinions, so we could very well be wrong, but there are both sentiments in my Discord, bull and bear. So feel free to come through. Thanks for doing everything you do for us, man. Nice work today. Hey, thanks. Rant for 5 minutes finale. I think I already did that. I could do it again, but I'm not going to. Not this time. Maybe another time. So I think I'm gonna end it here. I think we had a great first stream or second stream. I am gonna leave this up, so for any of you that want to watch it back, or want to show your friends, feel free. Like I said, like, subscribe, helps with the algorithm, helps spread the word. I'm trying to baptize people in truth, you know what I'm saying? So again, thank you for watching, and always remember to be patient, use risk management, and good luck.